yeah! French cafe music. I really dig those vibes. I just got back from an investor meeting. Then I had some blood work. And I took some lithium to try to offset some neuroinflammation today. Not bipolar. I don't have that for those of you tuning in. I wish I did. I'm hypomanic, generally speaking. But I have some sort of weird autoimmune disorder resulting from serotonin syndrome around the time of COVID that has not been good. So I'm trying to resolve that as best as I can. And lithium, something I took once when my mom passed away, I was like inconsolable, but a much higher dose. I couldn't stand it. It just takes all the, I don't know, the imagination away from someone who's a bit, ADD. Like you just lose this sort of like abstraction of like epiphanies that pop in that are not even, shut up, IKBR. That's not even related to what you're talking about or thinking about. That's why like AI, shut the fuck up. That's why AI has a hard time with new idea creation because it's not linear. I think that's good. Like the way that neurons work within the human mind, like what makes you inspired or what brings a thought into your head that's like profound. It's oftentimes you're working on something, you're doing something else is when that thought comes into play. And it's like, why? And I don't know there's a way of figuring that out. I'm not sure that's even like viable. But yeah, let me hide my face so I don't stare at my I just can't stand it. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better right now. 6 milligrams of lithium orate. We'll see what that does. I don't think it's enough to like blunt you like anadonically, which is ironic. People with long-term repercussions for taking SSRIs complain of something called PSSD, which is post-SSRI sexual dysfunction. But inclusive of that, there's like this anhedonia or lack of like emotion. This blunts you. They feel like they're like almost like locked-in syndrome in the sense of like they're living their life, but they're not the same. They don't feel like this reciprocity of happiness from doing things they enjoy, which is like the whole reason they got on the SSRI in the first place. And then I think there's a subset of people like me who get serotonin syndrome that have similar symptomatologies, but they are more of the like neuroinflammation type. And it might have to do with the fact that the body's trying to attack these neurons that are not in these receptor areas that are not performing correctly under the assumption that a foreign antigen's causing it. Under the assumption that the discombobulation, I like that word when you're like using Claude and terminal discombobulating while it's trying to like fix the inference or solve the answer, whatever you're asking it to do, whatever task orientation. It's like, okay, something's misfiring. We have to go in there and start like fucking things up. And I'm not sure that that's the case. And then when your immune system goes into haywire mode and like it's just shooting off everywhere, you get antibody exposure. Like you get these tests that show that you have like reactivated Epstein-Barr, which isn't necessarily accurate. It's not like replicating virus. It's not an enterovirus that's been reactivated. What it is that your body's trying to just throw things the kitchen sink at this problem, and it's making you feel like garbage, which is often the case when you're sick. Your body is making you feel worse than the virus is. So yeah, yesterday was a rough day. Today was slightly better. Decided to take the 6 milligrams of lithium, basically 3 and then 3 just now. We'll see. Maybe it makes me feel weird. It's just 3. Decided to take 3 more. Borderline therapeutic, allegedly. So I don't know. The markets, I'm not a fan of some stocks like Sarepta's price action. Like it's hard to see where it's going. We talked about it the other day, Elevides for muscular dystrophy, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy to be specific. The next like causal action is that the EMA, is the European Medical Agency, will determine whether or not to approve the ambulatory population for receival of Elevides for DMD. Now, it's unusual because they have also approved drugs that have not reached their primary endpoint in specialty diseases where people like there's not enough care. But I guess they think, with the recent deaths, and I think that was related, even though they say it's not, the deaths related to the non-ambulatory patient set, the people that are really sick that died. And it was just a handful of 500 patients. And no ambulatory have died. So, pretty good. I feel like the EMA is just like forcing Sarepta to do another trial to prove that the primary endpoint is viable, or that the p-value is better. I don't know, and giving Sarepta an opportunity to prove their case. But in so doing, there's not many catalysts. Like the company makes billions of dollars. The company is trading at 1.2 billion market cap. Isn't that what it's two? And I think it's expected to make, forgive me, 1.2 this year billion in revenue. I mean, at a minimum, it should be trading at $40. So that's 40 with no European action. You know what I mean? With next year potentiality for an approval. Do you see like how that becomes interesting? So yeah, that's a fascinating one. I like Legend. I always have liked Legend. I know a lot of people are getting into these gene therapies, targeting CD19, CD20 bispecific, chimera gene-like therapies, B-cell depleters, kind of like the new age of them. But I don't think that it's not worth. It's worth closer to 80. 50. I think a double is very, very fair with a new. I think who's coming in? Is it Gilead? In December, they'll have results. So, I don't know. It's an interesting one to play. Could go into their balance sheet, but in the interest of time. Yeah, so really curious about Bausch. There was an article in Seeking Alpha that came out about the buying the bonds and not the equity, which is very disconcerting. Very disconcerting. It's like weird timing. And what articles ever what writers ever tell you to buy bonds? Very rarely do they do that. It's so to buy the bonds of an equity, a corporate bond, not treasury. So that's very odd to me. I think the timing of that article is very disconcerting. Buy the bonds, which normally means you buy the bonds, you short the equity, which is telling you to do the thing that the companies, the market makers, like hedge funds and investment banks, don't want the public to know about. That they are long the bonds and short the equity. Prices keep going down. They're like this arbitrage play. This company is kind of like towards the end of this play of shorting the stock, going long the bonds. The real upside is owning the equity, which I've talked about ad infinitum. But basically, it's a recapitalization play that they're able to gain enormous value. Basically, the balance sheet of Bausch & Lomb, which they own 88% of, and it's a consolidated debt of $4.3 billion into their $20 billion, so 20 net and 4.3 or 20 altogether, $4.3 billion relative to BLCO. That's $4.3 billion of debt gone if they sell Bausch & Lomb. That's 6.3 billion of equity at the money, current market value, no premium. It's a $10 billion swing. And people are like, to make this viable for Bausch, they really need X, Y, and Z. I'm like, I don't think they need to sell Bausch & Lomb for 35. The reason the stock trades at 16 is because they own 88% of the float. There's just not enough shares for people to play around with this thing. So you're not going to know when it happens, if it happens. But, it's a legacy company. People like their eye contact solution to be special, something important, because there might be, things that cause them to go blind if they put in there. Don't jump into the lake with your contacts. Same idea. It's like I want a proven solution that when I'm sleeping, my eye contact lenses are in a robust solution to keep them clean. So Bausch & Lomb is a classic brand, and I think it has enormous intangible value still. So, it's interesting to look at. Keep an eye on it. The war is the war. It seems like some of the rhetoric involving Muslims and this sort of like Muslim, like Democrats are Muslims, Republicans are pro-Israel. You know what I mean? Like if you're against Israel, you're a Democrat. And if you say anything bad about Democrats, then you're pro-Israel. This is weird, like, no, that's not the case. But what I think that's doing psychologically, if it's a program of manipulation or manufacturing consent at all, is it's laying the groundwork for literally a ground invasion. It's the groundwork for the groundwork. To make people feel like, you know what, all this... the DSA committees, the sneako stuff, this loud, obnoxious, the crimes, the stabbings, happening in Europe, France, all over, the rape gangs and all this stuff. That all of this, but they don't. By the way, they don't have like Indian rape gangs. It's always like Pakistani rape gangs. Really? Pakistani rape gangs, anti-Israel, pro-Iran, Pakistan. Muslim rape gang. It's just like, dude. And now it's like Republicans are pro-Israel, Democrats are pro-Islam. What? It's a weird conflation, but it could be laying the groundwork for like the MAGA base to be pro ground troops in Iran for the sake of protecting Europe from rapists. From do you want your daughter? That could have been your daughter. That girl was 16. How old is your daughter? This type of thing. Never mind the policies that were put in place to allow this conflagration, this sort of like mass immigration of people that you apparently don't like. And it's like, when did you not like them? It's like you create the problem and the solution is bigotry, Islamophobia, a war in Iran. What if the entire, like, I don't know, it's hard to imagine, but like, people don't seem to be able to take the problem into their own hands and come up with a solution. So they have to defer to the government. And in creating the problem the government does in the first place, and then providing strict rules about guns, violence against immigrants, it's like the only people that can solve the problem are the police. Like I told you about the story of the girl in France that was raped, and then her friend was arrested for complaining about it online. Like, my friend was raped. I think that there's like an immigration problem. The friend was arrested after surely suffering some form of, pain and suffering from seeing something happen to their friend. Like, okay, that's fair. And yet the problem is the friend. The problem is not the rapist. It's just so bizarre. But again, those policies seem to be deferring power and centralizing it within the governments. So the problem was created by the government. The solution is the government. Now, I would argue that some of the legislation was forced by people outside of government, private donors, people that are moving the chess pieces around the board. Call them whatever groups you will, probably the consortium of a variety of different interests. But it is disheartening, and it does create this like learned helplessness where it is not your business to intervene. It is your business to complain and write a complaint form to your federal officer or your local municipal politician, whichever government and country that you reside in. And it has to be very nice and very like formal, and you can't use any incendiary language. And that's about as far as you can go. You can't tweet about it because you'll get arrested. Even if you don't use incendiary language, it's like I think that the immigration problem in France is creating high rates of crime and especially sexual assaults against citizens that are already here, like common French citizens. And like, oh, that's, it's a jailable offense. In England, same thing. So it's very disheartening, but it leads me to think that this forever war with Iran, where we're bombing them, because we're trying to move ships around the potential tariff situation or fines, or whatever they're doing, charging these tolls, Iran is, along the Omani coast or Oman coast, that's all designed to keep the war going to where the need for ground invasions a necessity, and somehow that's related to the crime and the war against the war on the citizenry of Europe by Muslims that have immigrated there due to the policies of their own government. And it's like eventually that'll happen here. The push for the all those fraud things, and Michigan, Flint, Michigan, and others, those daycare centers, all that stuff. All of this is designed to get you to hate them, conflate them with Iranians, and eventually a ground war will happen. I believe a ground war will happen. I believe that we're set on it. Maybe not this year, but next year. It's like a foregone conclusion. I can see Trump being impeached and still doing this, because it's not requiring a congressional act. The time has been reset. Okay, so what am I noticing? Some of my speech feel is slower. My brain feels a little bit more a little tired. Okay, that's interesting. Good to know. Better than yesterday, but still not up to par with where I like it. So it's blunting me maybe, but like it's necessary to resensitize the receptor, the 5-HT1A receptor. I don't know. We'll see. Let's go to the news. Forgot that I got rid of. Yeah, I have to go here. So I got rid of X for a little while. Let's take a break from it. It's such crack. X is just nonstop slop of news content you don't need to know, like funny videos. It's really bad. And now you can send money to people. You'll probably be able to gamble on X soon. It's really bad. Let's see. Dude, class in Israel? Dude. Interesting. There's going to be a looks-maxing war, looks-maxers versus groypers. There's going to be like it's trying to create some sort of thing. It's going to happen. It's going to happen closer to the election in 2028, but it's you're going to see some stuff heat up in 2027 because of his influence on Gen Z. He's going to be, smart man. Good for him. He's positioned himself well. Undeniably, he will be an enemy of Nick Fuentes at some point. It's going to happen, unfortunately. No hard feelings, it's just business. Stefan Diggs is a male sexual assault accused. Okay, bizarre. The receiver, their free agent. Didn't Stefan Diggs the guy that like had the Molly and stuff on a boat with girls? Ah, dude. Interesting.
invested in two guys' friendship. Yeah, Clav is my bro. Maybe he's gonna kiss the wall. Obviously, I disavow that. Obviously, I don't support that. But also, Clav never promised that he was a committed anti-Semite. Clav always said, I am trying to ascend in every way and just get as rich and successful as possible, and I don't care about politics. And then you guys are like, why isn't he this, like, political avatar? If anything, it's like, why do you have some attachment to an e-celebrity? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought that you're an adult man with your own dick and balls and you're, like, deeply invested in a live streamer? I understand a political movement, you know. If you support me because we're in a political movement and you support the ideals of this movement and everything, okay, I understand that. I understand being invested in a political ideology. But Clavicular's a live streamer. He's just one of the characters in the live stream universe. And he always said, hey, I'd like my character build is I'm only interested in fucking bitches and making money and status maxing. And you feel like...
It is true. But there will be a point where Clav will be forced by those people to disavow Nick Fuentes. That his station as a live streamer that has an enormous platform and a looks maxer will be forced into the political realm because of his previous associations with Nick. That's kind of the deal. Because of his influence on Gen Z and his original origins on TikTok, he will be used to disavow Groyperism. I have no doubt they will go head to head. It is a foregone conclusion. And Nick kind of like right now is saying, I fully support this guy. And he's going to do this up until the point where Clav goes head to head. And I know Clav knows that he doesn't have the brain power or the kind of like faculties in terms of the knowledge base to even. But I think they're going to make him do it regardless, you know? It'll be subtle. It'll be like, you know, he doesn't want to be direct because you don't want to go head to head with Nick Fuentes on anything, on the issues. But Nick's right about the Groyper Chad alliance. But I will say there's or the incel Chad alliance, there is going to be a schism, and people will try to regain control of Gen Z on TikTok and such, and they'll probably use women, like girls that are saying it's just not cool to hate anybody. Look at my tits. Whoa. Yeah. Anne Hathaway has some huge tits. Oh my God, they're very pregnant. I kind of like them when they're less inflated. They look kind of monstrous and frightening. I can, you know, what if she has like acute postpartum depression or something? She'd be kind of scary, like out of a horror movie. They should do that. They should just make it a documentary. She does have it, that, you know, she wants to kill the baby. She wants to kill her husband. She hates everybody. She's like gluing the furniture to the ceiling. And make her another $100 million. Let's see. Andrew Tate talking about the AC problem in Europe is all bullshit, climate change agenda stuff. I mean, I can't imagine. It's like, I was just there. It's the same as it's always been, you know? You got to dress appropriately, you know? You got to make sure you don't wear like a deerskin blazer to dinner in Rome. It's a little hot, you know? Wear the tropical blazer, a thing, some sartorial thing that's specific to this time of year. Thin, light fabrics, breathable. Get some linen shirts. No more than 3 or 4 in your wardrobe. Because then you'll have this like weird imbalance. Like the guy always wears linen shirts, and you'll wear one to the office one day, and you'll just like your cast of characters, whether you're the boss or you're in there, someone will pull you aside and be like, "What the fuck are you? Is that a linen shirt? Who the fuck do you think you are? Like, this is so inappropriate." You know, I once worked at a firm where like I didn't wear socks with my shoes, and someone was like pulled me aside. It's like, "Hey, that's this little disrespectful to the office." I'm like, then like later on in the summer, the managing director wore shorts And I was just like, with like, loafers. I'm like, really? Like, what? Like, okay. Oh, I forgot seniority. I understand now. I'm not there yet. That's the point. Okay. Because I'm like, yeah, that's really weird. At a law firm I interned at, they all wore shorts. It was so casual. So casual. You're not client facing, but I do think you start to eat more garbage when you don't like try to present yourself well, That is a problem. Though in Austin, Texas, which is like Satan's asshole of weather conditions, I do think it's almost oppressive to wear like a suit in this weather. It's disgusting. It really is. The dressed up attire is a golf shirt, a belt, and slacks. Now, slacks are an absolute necessity. I think at night you should wear a blazer to dinner or something, a jacket. But during the day, roll your sleeves up. It's okay to wear like, a dress shirt and some slacks or something like that. I don't expect you to wear a blazer everywhere or in the office the entire time. And no one does at hedge funds really anyway. That's why the whole fucking vest thing occurred. The vest thing was designed to be like kind of like sporty for the sake of the action of sitting at your desk with your elbows staring at a screen. If you're an intern and your elbows are not going through your cheap, white dress shirts by the end of the summer, I don't want you back. There's something about that the use of your clothes, is it all for show or is it for like functionality? And it really should be for that. It should not be comfort for the sake thereof. It should be comfortable in the uniform that respects the position that you're in your office and your stakeholders, which are either your investors or otherwise. That's the way it should be. Sophia Rain's a virgin. Wow. Absolutely incredible. Graham Plantner doesn't look like a guy that rapes people. How tall is Graham Plantner? They really didn't like this guy. Democrats killing one of their own. It's like too weird. What's your height, bro? Let's say. It's the Marine Corps. See, let me get a comp. Like a ginger rapist? I don't know. Maybe a drinker. The girl that accused him was like, technically it was rape. This is the word she used, technically. Technically is in like a normal relationship. It's like your girlfriend too, not some like woman that, like checking into her room late at night at the hotel and you're like 3 doors down and you just like pummel her with your heft, and like her little roller cart thing knocks over, you push her onto the bed and you're like, shh, don't you fucking move. It wasn't that. It was like his girlfriend, and he came home drunk, allegedly, according to her. Yeah, dude. And they kept a relationship after that for the most part, for a little while, I think. And she explained that in some stupid way. How much did she get for that comment? Dude, it's so fake. It's just like that woman from the Brett Kavanaugh situation that was like a complete liar. Like, she didn't want to testify. She made $4 million out of nowhere from her GoFundMe, from private, like anonymous donations from the populace, as if people really care. Like, do they really give a shit about? No one cares about you. And you're like creating this story where you deserve $4 million because you had sex with someone 40 years ago, or like, what is it? It was a prep school at Georgetown Prep 40 years ago. When he was 16, 15, he raped you? But there are no other cases? That's not a thing. I would even argue that's not even a flaw in character to rape someone with that gap. You know what I mean? Just as it's not like an evidentiary base on the other end of competence. I wouldn't think he's a competent rapist, or I wouldn't think he's a competent computer programmer, considering he did it 30 years ago and he hasn't done it since. I would just be like, it's a one-off. It's the same thing with what's his name? Woody Allen. It's like, so you rape little kids in your family one time, and you never do it again. And it's like, what? Like, taste the forbidden fruit, forgive the, jovial nature of that, this phrasing, but like, and then you're like, I'm good? Really? I just don't. I'm sorry. I find it hard to believe. I'm sorry. It cries of bullshit. It cries of bullshit. But yeah, there was a hit job. They don't like him. Same thing happened to Bernie Sanders, and given the amount of attention on him, Hillary was the person. The Democratic National Convention, DNC, they just destroyed him. And then he's like, I'll endorse you, but I want a private plane to go to all your events. And, this whole fucking game. It's really low IQ. I hate that phrase, but it's true, to point out the obvious, like the whole system's rigged. It's all a scam. You should be scamming. Everyone should be scamming. When you sell a product, it's not at cost. You mark it up, and you justify this based off of what? It's not your work. Your work cost X. If it was your work as some sort of multiplier effect, you would still not make any money. You'd be at even. You'd have no profit. If you could quantify your opportunity cost into dollars and it was equal, you'd be selling at cost. So there's a premium you charge. That's like, is that fair? Is that a con? It's all a con, because the con is a mutual contract between two consenting parties. I'm selling you this. I'm making money from it. You kind of know that, but you want it anyway. That's why I never understood the thing with Trump in New York with that huge fine for selling a property to another investor. Bank of America came in as the third party to approve the sale in terms of the valuation, and it was appropriate. And Bank of America wasn't sued. It's like, but they were the evaluator of the property and basically said, oh, this is fair value for the loans. It's like, here's a third party doing the loan assessment. Here's the loan. Okay, both parties agree. An independent person also agrees. They write up their, opinion. The banks agree, give him the money, and then he's accused of inflating his assets. I'm like, no, that's literally business. How business works. Everything is inflated. What are you talking about? He could sell his properties at a loss, I guess, but that's not a thing. That's not a thing you do. You're borrowing against negative equity? No, you want a loan to value that's the most you can get. That's how business works with real estate. You borrow against your assets, you buy more, you use it for something else. It's such a weird thing to do, But it's the same idea. It's the same idea. Like, all these people, Bernie Sanders at face value is this communist. He has 3 houses, is worth $30 million. That's the low end of that's the poverty level. The Elizabeth Warren net worth. That woman. How intelligent is she really? Do you know Al Sharpton's worth $100 million, and you make $150,000 a year? You listening to this right now, make $200,000 a year, maybe with some stock options. Fucking Al Sharpton's worth $100 million. You're a fucking loser compared to Al Sharpton, and Al Sharpton's a moron. It's not about fair, It's like so go back to clavicular. It's like, hey, the bro wants to be retired in 10 years. There's no, I'm afraid. What if this doesn't happen? What if this? Oh, I just want to be a good guy. No, it's like, I want mine. I'm putting myself out there. I'm selling what I'm selling. I'm an open book. And that's it. And it's like, okay. And it's like, oh, this is these people are just fraudsters. I'm like, you would wish you could fraud like that. You wish you could Shkreli like that. I'm just kidding. No, but you wish you could be in the position to sell out. Okay? It is a privilege to do so. It is an honor. The people that give you the opportunity to sell out have a huge smile on their face. That Yossi Farrow guy that does the tefillin wrapping thing with all these famous people, He's so happy to do it to Clav because he knows that Clav's ascending. You think if he's like rapping someone that was a fucking loser, you know, like he wouldn't be. He's so happy. He sees it. He gets it. So, I don't know. That's how I see the game. It's a game. It's a game of sums and zeros. It's zeros. I think it's not zero sum in the sense of there's binaries, one wins, one loses. There's room for lots of us at the top or in the middle or whatever. And we play our roles and it's fun. But to like sit back and do nothing and criticize other people who are doing something, it's so easy to do that. It's like it's so easy not to play the game, man. You're not better than the game. The game is the game. The game will always be the game. No one's better than the game. No one's bigger than the game. Even Trump knows. He's protected himself, bought insurance for his family, knowing that the midterms he's going to lose, that they're coming for him. And the cycle might be over with MAGA. It might, you know, he knows this. His greatest legacy will be the invasion of Iran, which I think he's going to do it. I really think we're going to have ground troops there. But never mind that. It's just no one's bigger than the game. The lawfare got to him, gets to everybody. It's just the game is bigger than you. The ideals of you, or your ideals of the wants of you, your perception of like right and wrong is only relevant to how the system views it. And the system is so much more powerful than you could possibly know. So, you know. Let me look at the market again. My friend, I was investing in a genetic testing company. I don't know what you're supposed to do with this information. You get genetic testing done. Are you going to get gene therapy? It's like, well, you have a COMT mutation, so it says you can't eat like any papaya. So stay away from papaya. Got it. There's like, what are you gonna know? What do you do with this? It's like it's not 100% anything. It's like, well, some people with this gene do better with less salt in their diet. Okay, like what the? How much do you pay for this? $500. Oh my god, dude, it doesn't even apply to you. It doesn't even apply to you. Do you see this? It doesn't apply to you. It's like, well, I have a COMT gene and I love salt and I'm fine. Oh, well, thanks for your business. Would you like to add on some other things to test for? Sure. But didn't you test my sequence before? Well, we have to do it again every time. It's bizarre, man. Really what they're doing is they're just opening up the book. That's what 23andMe did. You'd pay for these premiums. They already have your genome to like unlock it and review and compare. And you test against what you already have given them. It's like, it's insane. It's like one cost for them and then a forever of charges. Like, okay, we need the key to your house. You give them your genome, swab in your mouth. Okay, now we're going to offer you like cool things to look for. Do you want to know if your eyebrows will fall out when you're 50? Yeah. Okay, here's $25. Do you want to know if like your kids will be retarded? Yes. Okay, here, pay me. Moms want to know. Moms want to know that more than anything. Dads are just like, we'll just kill them. I'm not going to pay for that. The moms are like, my babies. I need to know. So I can hate him because it's from his side. I'm like, actually, more than likely, Down syndrome, retardation comes from the mother. So, yeah, it's really your fault. But she's in denial. She's never going to accept that. Never going to accept it. She's always going to blame him. Or she's going to shut down. Just be like, look at the wall. Like, I'm talking to you. Our kids are retarded because of your grandmother, on your side. The one with, the claw. She's just like, I'm not listening. What? Sorry? Spaghetti for dinner? Yeah. Can only imagine what my parents' dynamic was. I never saw them together. Seriously. I have no recollection of my parents together. I have no sense of self-worth and like comfort and like trust in myself. Like innately, I had to like build it up. Like I feel safe, or everything's gonna work out. I have none of that. No seeing parent hug other parent. When I saw that at someone else's house in like a sleepover, I'm like, wow, that's so nice. Good for you. You must be so lucky. In my head, not to like my friend. He's like, your parents give each other hugs. I'm like, that's crazy. You know? This podcast should just be about my childhood and how fucked up it is, because I bring it up so often. Should be about like how many people have similar, like I see have similar childhoods. I like see people's psychosis without even asking them. I can see it on their face. Now I'm getting so tired of it. I'm just like, dude, everyone is so fucked up. I don't even want to engage. I see a girl with like her she's wearing these shorts, and like you can see that she cut herself. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, why did you think that was a good thing? That you're gonna hide your self mutilation? But you just tell people it's stretch marks and you lost all this weight. You fucking thin spo bitch. No one's gonna believe you're ever fat. Give me a break. The scars end up just looking like what would that be, like little skin tattoos. They don't even, they're not obvious. Eventually you have to like see it. You have to really look for it. I once saw a girl on Hinge. I was like, are you still like cutting yourself? And I'm like, what? She's like, how do you? I almost did it just to fuck with her, kind of like, put her on, because I'm like, you're borderline, right? I'm like, you cut yourself. I kind of set it all up. I didn't see how you still cut yourself. That would be like really creepy. I'm like, you still cut yourself? Like, I knew what she was. How's your relationship with your mom? Important, because people think it's a daddy issue thing. It's not. It's usually a mom thing. The mom is usually crazy. Some more. This market's so boring. Is Iran going to shoot up the data centers? That was the whole fear. Like the desalination plants, the data center. What's going on there? They're just going to like take it up the ass and like constantly deal with these bombings because they're trying to control the strait. They exert their power over their, coastline. Control. They're not control, but they need the commerce. They need to ship out their own oil. They obviously don't want to slow down the world economy. There's be no money to buy their shit. But I don't know. Federal regulator warns robotaxis are a danger to the public. Really? I was just in one. Oh, the instance of autonomous vehicles driving into active emergency scenes and blocking the paths of ambulances and firefighters. Well, that's not good. We don't want people to die on the way to the hospital because of a whammo. Check. Lawyers, if they contacted. Ba da 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 da. Who are you? Ah. Okie dokie. Work on this thing majiggy I'm working on, this app. All right, guys. I will talk to you later.